Today was not one of our finer days, to say the least. Give Minnesota credit. I always feel like sometimes when you don't play well, it's always about the things you didn't do, and you don't credit the other team for playing well. I thought they were really ready to play. Obviously, we had a very difficult time defending them the whole night. They executed well. They shot it well. When they get Carr going, Atoro going, and both of their shooters going, then they become a very difficult team to play against. And we allowed all those things to happen today. Certainly disappointed in how we played. Our staff takes total responsibility for it. I got to do a better job of having our guys ready. It's at a point in the season where you got to be ready to play and compete at a high level, and you're not going to be competitive if you give up 83 points and 14 threes and allow a team to shoot 50% from the field and get 12 offensive rebounds. So, we have to be much better. We have a lot of work to do. We have to get to the practice floor, and we got a couple weeks to try to play some better basketball and try to finish on a high note.
What are you doing to try to get this team to play better?
Yeah, well, the very first thing is we need to practice. We had a stretch of where we played the 4 games in 10 days, and you're really worried about over practicing your guys, because of travel and fatigue and all that kind of stuff, and you want fresh minds and fresh bodies, and you got a few guys dinged up, and so you're trying to get them right. And I just feel like our habits were very poor today. We didn't guard the ball well. Our pick and roll coverages were poor. We weren't in our help spots. I'm going to have to look at the film, but the very first thing we have to do is practice hard. I think, guys will have an off day tomorrow, and then we got a couple days to have a couple hard practices. Because that's what it's going to take. We're playing an outstanding team on Thursday, and we got to be better on the defensive end. We got to rebound it better. And I feel like the offense will take care of itself. The offense will play better if you're connected on the other end and doing those other things well.
After a couple consecutive close losses, now we're seeing a trend where a couple consecutive double-digit losses. Is there any reason for that?
Yeah, no rhyme or reason. I don't think it's a pattern. I actually thought we played pretty well in our last game against Maryland. I thought we did a lot of good things on the road against the best team in the league, so I thought that was a positive. I thought that was going to trickle over into playing pretty well today, but obviously that wasn't the case. So, you got to try to stop the bleeding. You got to, the one thing I've been proud of our guys is they have been a resilient bunch. Every time we felt like, maybe they were close to staying on the mat, they keep getting up and wanting to fight and see another day. So, I'm pretty sure, knowing the character of the guys in the locker room, that they're going to come on Tuesday and they're going to try to finish this thing off right, whatever that means. I feel like they're going to come to practice. I think we're going to work. The coach, we got to do a better job as coaches. There's no question about it. It's mostly, instead of pointing fingers, you always have to look at yourself and see what you can do better. And I can be better for these guys, and that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to get ourselves ready to go on Thursday and try to find a way to get one.
Coach, just before you came in, Coach Pitino was talking about how for a young team in a league of this caliber, you kind of have to go through this. It's inevitable, kind of what you guys are going through now. Do you agree that? Do you agree with that? That a team this young is inevitably going to go through a streak like this, some tough times?
Yeah, it's not fun when you're going through it. But the reality is, especially in this year's Big Ten, which is really strong. Because a guy like Pat Spencer, even though he's an older guy, he's never played college basketball, so you consider him a first year. So when you trot out 4 first years and a sophomore in your starting lineup, and then you bring in a first year and Jared and a sophomore, Nance, so 7 of your top 9 guys are first year and second year. Like, there's a process that you have to go through to learn how to win, and it's not fun when you're doing it. It's not, because we're all competitive and we all want it to happen right now. But the reality is, we're learning a lot of lessons because we're playing very good teams. And if you're not ready to play at a high level, you get exposed. Like today, we got exposed today. And there have been times when we've been ready to play at a high level. And we've played well. We haven't quite closed the deal. You know, we played 36 minutes and struggled to finish it off in 3 or 4 of these games. But, you know, we've had 3 or 4 as well where you just get outclassed and a team's ready to play and they let you have it. And, you know, we have to stick together. I really like this group of guys. I think they're a resilient bunch. I do think we have the talent to be good in time. And hopefully experiences like this can make you stronger and more determined to do the things you need to do to win. There's multiple examples. I've used it with our guys all the time. You know, you're looking at teams this year like Illinois, Rutgers, Penn State, you know, teams that have had to go through it as young teams. And now, you know, they're emerging as league contenders because they've gone through it and they've been stronger from it and they've gotten better. You know, we went through it ourselves a few years ago. But you're only going to get better as if you learn from, you know, you can't let it kill you. You know, you got to, days like today, it's got to burn, it's got to hurt. And then you got to come back the next day and you got to get to work. And that's really all I've ever known how to do, you know, and nobody's going to abort the mission. You know, we knew we had a really young team, but still we're going to try to compete. You know, nobody cares that we have a young team. Everybody's trying to win. But at the end of the day, sometimes days like this happen, and it's definitely no fun to go through, but it can be part of a process if we handle it the right way.
Coach, in 2015, you guys had a similar stretch with 10 straight losses, and then you guys were able to squeak out an OT win at home versus Iowa, and it spurred a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Are there any parallels between that run and this streak right now, and how did you snap out of the losing streak and make meaning out of the season?
Yeah, well, you know, I think when you get to this stretch, it's about, especially when we have a lot of guys who are just beginning their careers, it's about continuing to develop and just try to find a way to get a win. You know, I mean, it's at this point, it's not about our record. It's not about where. It's about, can we put 40 minutes together to earn a victory? And, you know, obviously teams are different and all those, but I see a lot of similar characteristics in the two teams. I mean, obviously McIntosh was a freshman point guard. We got a freshman point guard out there now in Bowie. You know, and we have a lot of younger guys that are trying to figure it out. And I will tell you this though, the thing that has really kept me going is just seeing them come back and they really want to win. You know, they're taking these losses hard. They really want to win. They want to be a good team. They want to figure it out. And like you said, sometimes it just takes getting that one. You know, and like, you know, we went through that 10 game. We were playing Iowa. I'll never forget it. And they threw in like a 30-foot shot at the buzzer to force overtime, and we found a way in overtime to gut it out. And just them feeling what it took to win kind of allowed us to finish strong and get a few down the stretch, which then led into the offseason. And then that same group of guys came back the next 2 years and won 20 and 24 games. So, you know, that's what we got to do. You know, nobody's tapping out. You know, days like today are not fun, like I said, and we got beat down today by a good team, and you know, we got to get better, and we got to learn from it, and we got to try to find a way Thursday, get another opportunity. There's nothing we can do now about today. Today's over. We can come back to practice the next couple days, and we can try to be better, and we can try to figure out a way to beat Illinois on Thursday.
Anything else?
All right. Thank you, guys.